Welcome back, everyone, to the Complete Pineleaf. I am back here at Le Crush, and let's see what Sparkles has to say about these missives I found. King Greytooth lives? 78 years he's been gone, and for 78 years we have known what it is to be slaves. Perhaps those days shall soon be behind us. Mistress Zoreth claims he was still imprisoned by Sauron after all these years. But one detail in this missive has left me uneasy. You see, my folk have never been sent to seek him. I can't recall a single expedition to rescue him from the Dark Tower. What attempts to free him could this missive be speaking of? That is a question I shall have to ask the mistress, I think. Where her efforts failed, we must now succeed. It is time King Greytooth is freed from Barad-dûr and returns to lead his folk. I take it from that you are expecting me to go into Barad-dûr. After that incident with the mouth of Sauron, I am not too sure I'll be too welcome there. It's Barad-dûr. I'll definitely not be welcome there. I suppose there might be some orcs there that might welcome me as dinner, but I don't think I want to become dinner, right? What do you say about that?
By my grandsire's beard.
Yes, yes, these will do the trick. The Dark Lord's steel is a curious creation. It is light, yet sturdy, and I have come to believe it cannot be dulled by the passing of time. In the hands of any dwarf, I say it still cannot match the beauty and strength of Mithril. Even so, has no equal in Mordor. If our king should ever return, he shall bear a weapon worthy of his line. I swear it! I have never given up hope that the king lived, for he spared me Sauron's ire when the Dark Lord took him to the others away. I have him back again would be a greatest joy. I shall set my smiths to work at once. You have my thanks, Pineleaf. You're welcome. Zversting? And now that leaves Jury. I have buried your dead and dealt with some of those cultists.
We are dwarves and the folk of Durin.
May those men rot upon the plains for what they have done. We may serve Mistress Zoreth, but we are not slaves all the fools of Mordor. A fire burns within us yet. My kin have been given a final honor, and for that I offer you my thanks. You're welcome. Now, let's get back to Sparkoth. You've done well to aid my folk, Pineleaf. As Mistress Zoreth promised, King Greytooth lives yet, but we must still wrest him from the dungeons of the Dark Tower, and that shall be no simple task. Well, I am glad that you realize that. Hmm, I suppose this will do.
Long have we toiled, and for what?
If I am reading these missives correctly, King Greytooth can be found deep in the dungeons of Barad-dûr, deeper still than any of the stout axes that have taken when he was imprisoned. Aye, it seems that Sauron did not want him too close to the others of his kin. As far as I know, only one entrance to Barad-dûr remains, and that is the main gate. It lies across the wide span from the causeway through Dora Marth, and underneath it, the fires of Uldruin blaze without end. Once you enter the tower, you must seek the dungeons and then travel as far within them as you're able. Only then may you find King Greytooth. Foes lurk around every corner of Barad-dûr, But do not forget that others of my kin may be there to aid you if you free them. I can offer you no more advice than to watch your back, friend, for you must venture into the very heart of evil and find King Greytooth. If you return alongside the king, you shall be revered amongst our folk. All right, here we go. I guess I shall take this. And now, before I head into Barad-dûr, there's one more item I wish to take care of. Yes, before I head into Barad-dûr, I need to speak with King Elmer here because I have reached level 110. Pineleaf, you have performed many great deeds for the free peoples of Middle-earth, but many folks still require aid. To that end, I believe it would be most beneficial for you to swear your allegiance to one of these groups. This would allow you to properly focus your efforts and your skills, thereby contributing as much as you can to their particular needs. Right, so I need to select an allegiance. Okay, dokie, and that means bringing up the reputation panel. Okay, and allegiance. So I have a choice between the Kingdom of Gondor, and the Court of Lothlorien, and Diren's folk, and the Hobbits of the company. Well, in context, Merry or Golathon can be found at Kirith Gorgor, just inside the ruins of the Black Gate. Alright, might as well speak with Merry then. I mean, that makes sense, right? We're both hobbits. So let's go and speak to Merry and see what this is all about. Apparently, Merry and Pippin are having a little chat with Mithrandir or Gandalf or whatever we wish to call him. Hello there, Merry.
You must help us settle this argument.
Yes, finally, you have come along in just the right moment, and you must help us settle this argument. We hobbits must stick together after all, mustn't we? You see, our good friend Gandalf here thinks we should not be allowed to poke our noses into Mordor. Well, I can see why he would think so. Mordor is a rather nasty place, I can tell you that.
Gandalf won't hear reason from us. Perhaps you can move him.
Yes, I don't see why we shouldn't be allowed in. Plenty others have gone in, Sam and Frodo included. Yes, and they didn't have a very good time there. Well, I'll admit, they are not the best of examples. But we're not proposing to march right up to the slope of Mount Doom. Well, that's good. We wish only to take a few brief strolls into the place and be able to say that we saw it with our own eyes. Find a bit of treasure, perhaps, to take home with us. I take it you don't agree with them.
Mordor is more dangerous a place than you imagine.
Treasure? Ha ha! Yes, I see. Now we get to the bottom of this foolish notion. I tell you once more, Mordor is no place for hobbits. Thanks a lot, Mithrandir. You keep sending me inside of it. There are things down the path beyond which either of you have ever reckoned or encountered. In truth, I should think you have had enough adventuring for 3 lives of hobbits put together. The 3 of you. You've had enough adventuring for 3 lives of hobbits. Okay, yeah. I think he's adamant.
Steady now.
More than we have reckoned or encountered, you say? Yet we have encountered quite a lot between the Shire and here. Not just Moria and the Pelennor Fields, which I suppose you remember somewhat, but plenty in between when you were not around and nanny to us. I say it is we who are capable of more than you imagine. Thank you very much. I feel like I'm turning into a go-between for these.
Yes, yes.
Yes, come, come. I advise, albeit sometimes strongly, but I do not rule. Or had you forgotten that you had both submitted yourself to the rule of others? If you wish to go into Mordor, it is Eomer and Aragorn that you should ask. But let us forget this matter for a time. I have something to show you. That is why I had come looking for you to begin with. As it happens, I cannot show it to you here, however, because it is a place and not a thing. It is a short ride out of the blasted place, and it would be best that we set off at once. Right, let's go then. Welcome to Barthrinian, the Hidden House. Right, this is what you wanted to show us.
Heed my words.
This place, Barthronian, is yours by royal decree of the Kingdom of Gondor. You might think this is some jest of our old friend Aragorn, but in truth, it was the soldiery and the rangers of Ithilien who petitioned to have it for you. I had brought you here prematurely, I confess. I know not how many men will be here tomorrow to make the place somewhat more habitable. I thought, however, you would like to see it sooner, so that you could make your own plans. It will serve as a fine residence, indeed, for the time that you will dwell here in Gondor before heading back to the Shireward. And, with any luck, it will keep the two of you out of trouble and away for some time and out of the way of foolish notions. For a few days at least, if we were lucky. Well, come on then, let's step inside. This I must see for myself. There you go. Hmm, this I must see for myself. Right. What do you say, Pippin?
Almost home-like this is.
Is this considered a common house by the big folk around here? Uh, Definitely not a common house. It is bigger than any house we had ever seen in Greenland, and I dare say a whole of the Smiles would fit in this one main hall. Well, yes, probably. I have a house near Dol Amroth that, yeah, it's a lot smaller than this. But it's bigger than anything I have in the Shire, I must admit. Well, what do you say about this, Mary?
Oi, this wants a thorough cleaning.
Well, I suppose we really ought to have a look around and see what we can see, right? So I need to explore the central court, the side quarters, the north passage, the south passage, and the kitchens. Of course, we must explore the kitchens. I mean, we're hobbits. We have to. Let's see what we have this way. These rooms would make a handsome quarters for a hobbit, if restored. All right, there you go. It is that. No, it couldn't be. Amazing. The central pool must have been lovely when it was clean and clear, so we'll actually have to do something about that. Alright, now let's head down to see if we can find the kitchens. Little but the kitchens leads off in this direction. Well, the remains of the ovens and cookery, but the kitchens must have been fine and well provisioned ones. Well, we're going to have to clean this up quite a bit. It's a bit of a fixer-upper, I must say. And now we still have a southern passage to deal with. There are spaces that might have been dining areas and studies here. Is that an overgrown garden beyond? Well, it's hard to see what's grown or not grown in there. I suppose we'll find that out eventually. Now, where has Pippin gone off to? I'm sure they've gotten themselves into trouble already. Ah, here they are, in the central area.
Now we're getting somewhere.
I don't know if either of you observed the fact, but it so happens that we have everything we need for a simple makeshift meal. Beginning with an old table someone happened to leave right here. I know what I could use a bit to eat. What about you two? Where there are crates of food and some bottles of old wine with the seals intact, some light, a bit of straw for a seat, and a few plates that will help. If you gather those, Pineleaf, Mary and I will work on cups, knives, and anything else that we can muster. All right? Provisions. How long have these provisions been here? Are they set here in anticipation of the workers? Or look at this. Okay, we got some battered plates, some Ithilian wine. Well, I don't know how well the wine aged. There's some straw. Okay. When you said sit on a bit of straw, I didn't realize that I was to collect the stuff. Ah, candlestick. Okay, I only need one of those. How about some candles to put into the candlestick? I mean, that will be useful, I think. So I still need to find some provisions, and we hope that these provisions, as I said, are edible. Now, there might be some in the kitchen, but if they've been sitting here for the last few hundred years, let's see what's in here. Wine? Rather small bottles, but okay. I suppose I have to find 4 provision crates just to make sure that there's enough potable food in here for us. There you go. More plates, and before long, I'll have everything gathered. This appears to be the last of the crates. Now, let's go and place the stuff right here by our little picnic table. Oh yeah, they're here lickety-split as soon as the table is set.
Well, I say all this hard work deserves a meal.
Yes, there we are. A meal all laid out. Fine work, friends. Well, don't just stand there. Let us eat. No standing on ceremony. Not under these circumstances. I'm too far starved for it anyway. It's just us friends here anyway, Pineleaf. Say, it isn't half bad, really. Oh, these Gondorians know their wine and dry provisions. And hunger is best seasoning, I always say. Hunger, good company, pepper, salt, and cheer. Now, there now, that's a bit better. Indeed, I can nearly go on an adventure again. Gandalf will disagree with that. Me, I'd like to poke around here some more. Oh well, we'll adventure tomorrow perhaps. Yeah. What a remarkable place Gandalf found for us. Amazing to think that those are on? Can you imagine what it will look like after the Gondorians have tidied it up? I should like to chat with them and make sure some of our things are placed in some of the rooms and that the kitchens are particularly restored, if anything. Aye, but listen to me. A meal, some good company, and something to do and think about is welcome of this odd, free time after we won. But I hope old Gandalf doesn't think he's fooled us into forgetting about Mordor. We should soon very much like to go. Yes, I'm sure you would. I suspect Gandalf is not going to let you sneak in any. He's keeping a close eye on you.
To adventures.
I hope that you'll stay about Pineleaf and have some meals with us and help us make our way in these days that we stay here. They treat us like princes, it is true, but sometimes like the pampered kind who are well fed and can do very little on their own accord. That is no life for a hobbit, if you ask me. I suppose not. I suppose not. Well, let's chat with Aemir. I spoke with Mary. I know that you'll be a great help to those hobbits, Pineleaf. May your skills and your efforts on behalf of them prove worthwhile as your adventures here in Mordor. Perhaps one day you'll return to fight on behalf of my own kingdom. Ha ha! We will fight together again, if that comes to pass, and let the foes of the mark tremble. But for now, my friend, there are other folk who need you. Aid these hobbits to the best of your ability. All right, I will do so. But next time, I suppose we'll have to head over to Barad-dûr, unless I find some other way to delay that in the next episode of The Complete Pineleaf.